A chapter all about communication, in where things are said and situations are cleared up, as we have Taiki and Chinastu interacting in a B&B. Hello everyone and welcome to Anime Awakening, and today we're talking about chapter 47 of the Blue Box manga series. A brilliant chapter that really made me smile with the overwhelming vibes of positive wholesomeness. So, Taiki and Chinastu are stuck, therefore they stay the night together. And what I really like about this situation is within many different mangas in where we got comedy and romance, it's always very comedic. But this chapter is different. Yes, we get a small amount of comedy, but for the most part it handles itself in a very mature way. This not only helps the characters within the chapter grow and develop, but it also highlights some of their best elements. For example, within this chapter, Taiki does everything he can to make sure Chinastu isn't feeling uncomfortable. He acted very respectfully. Him sleeping in the chair all night is just a prime example of him doing this. While on the topic of sleeping on the chair, I thought Chinastu mimicking his movements at the end of the chapter was super sweet and cute. I'm glad they included that. One character this chapter really does highlight, and I'm glad that they did, was Nagisa. Giving Chinastu a call and vowing to work together as a team to get stronger, to help relieve some of the stress/pressure that Chinastu was feeling. I thought this was amazing, as it shows Nagisa being a very good supportive friend. And it showcases that Chinastu does have a good support network around her. This segment of the chapter also showcases Nagisa as being very observant, as she sees how stressed out and how down Chinastu has been during training. So she tries to do something to rectify that situation. She even notices during this chapter that Chinastu is looking more relaxed during the video call, which again goes to show how observant Nagisa can be as a character. Their conversation about Chinastu wearing a yukata though was still really sweet, as it gives us a little bit more insight onto Chinastu's feelings during the day of the fireworks festival. We now know that during the fireworks festival she was feeling a little bit jealous of her other friends when they were all wearing a yukata and she couldn't. This again was just a little bit of cute wholesome banter between friends, but it was a nice little detail that they dropped in. The two characters obviously have a strong bond and a brilliant friendship, and we also get a tease of Nagisa hearing a boy's voice when the call ended. So could we see Nagisa helping Chinastu in more ways than just basketball? I wonder. Now then, on to Taiki and Chinastu, because this segment I thought was amazing. Hearing Taiki apologise for unintentionally lying about going in a group when Chinastu obviously found out that it was just him and Hina. But this of course is great as it clears up the confusion between the situation, and as a result it seems like Chinastu was happy at this revelation. This confession from Taiki also displays a lot of maturity. As well as the fact is, it also shows that Taiki, sometimes when he says things, he actually goes through with it, which is a good step in the right direction for his character. He said he wanted to clear up the situation and talk to Chinastu about it, and finally he's gone and done it. The manga is of course just text and images. We don't know the tone in Taiki's voice when he delivered that apology. However, it must have sounded super sincere and genuine. After all, Chinastu had no issues accepting this, and we knew that Chinastu had a few issues with the whole situation before going off to nationals. In fact, she even apologises herself in regards to the whole setting up boundaries between them situation. After a bit of reflection, she realises that on that day she causes more issues than solutions, and was unfair to Taiki's feelings in regards to doing so. Of course, Chinastu is in her right mind. If she wants to set up boundaries, or anybody wants to set up boundaries in their lives between themselves and somebody else, they have every right to do so. So in a way, Chinastu really didn't make any mistakes in this part, so she really doesn't have much to apologise for. But at the same time, I do understand her angle of thinking when presenting her apology across. With her setting up boundaries between herself and Taiki, it looked to have caused Taiki and herself to become more distant, to a point where she almost loses him. I personally think that she realises this now and wants to go back to where things were between them before those boundaries were set up, before then obviously progressing further with their relationship if one does form between them. We know that Chinastu is mature and can be a bit childish at times, but this apology does show maturity, but also it shows desire within herself. This could be her also acting selfish in trying to go closer to Taiki. So in a way, you could say that this is character development for Chinastu as she's actually pursuing her feelings and trying to go after something that she really wants. I really love the fact that this chapter allows them to talk to each other and open up to each other about things that are confusing in their lives. And as a result, every character looks happier. But will we still see Taiki dancing around on eggshells, or with the idea about getting too close to Chinastu, thinking that his actions might come across as a bit too much? Of course, we now know that boundaries have been knocked down, but will Taiki still be worried about making Chinastu angry or upset or dislike him? This is something that Taiki is going to have to mentally overcome, and I'm looking forward to see that take place. Either way, the last thing that I think needs addressing about this chapter is of course that cover image. This looks amazing. The expression on Chinastu's face looks very deep and complex, almost as if she's lost in thought. Is it fanservice-y? Of course it is, but it's also harmless. So overall, I really like this chapter. The vibe was very uplifting, very positive, very wholesome and sweet. And I think it was a much needed chapter for our characters, as now both characters can move forward with their goals with more hope and more optimism moving forward. The art style within this chapter was brilliant from start to finish, so no fault on that front. The dialogue all seemed very genuine and realistic. It sounded like something that people would genuinely say to each other if in the situation. But you have to tell me what you think of this chapter in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, and of course I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you have, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff for more Blue Box content. Of course, next week's chapter marks the 1-year anniversary for the series, so let's see how it goes. Other than that though, I hope you've had a great day. Arigato, matane, goodbye.